Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia and this is the Frontline Changes report. And it is yet another episode of Frontline Changes. And yes, very quickly, 8 hours ago I just published a sit rep and now it's a Frontline Changes. No, very fast. And again, Frontline Changes. So if there's an episode, clearly there's Frontline Changes. There is quite a number of Frontline change and one freaking massive drop. Some update, and everything is red. So pro Ukrainian guys, bye bye. You can you can forget it. But if you want reality, then you should watch, subscribe, and so there is frontline change over at Druzhba, Pivnishne, New York, Zalizne. So these are all over in the New York front, and then we have Zalene as well as Uruzaine. So we go into the New York front over at Druzhba. So there is some frontline changes. So some of this may be already covered in the sit rep. So, but no, not everyone watches the sit rep. So there is some frontline change. Then the Russian forces have captured part of Druzhba. This is confirmed by geolocation, and that with the Russian forces geolocated in the northern half of Pivnishne, and this is already now corroborated since the sitrep. The Ukrainian mapping have corroborated this. The Russian forces have basically entered into the northern half of Pivnishne, and basically more than half of Pivnishne is now under Russian control. Pivnishne is a pretty big town, and so this fighting into this northern half is pretty significant. So anyway, this is the frontline change over in the Pivnishne Druzhba region. The next frontline change is south of this position over at Zalizne. So over in Zalizne itself, Ukrainian mapping have acknowledged and corroborated Russian mapping that the Russian forces have captured basically the entire southwestern part of Zalizne. So the almost the entirety, and but effectively it's actually everything, because the Russian forces are already geolocated here. So yeah, but the Ukrainians are trying to delay confirmation of the big progress of the Russians in this sector. But doesn't matter because they know the reality. Russian forces now, check this out, one huge chunk of New York, New York cheesecake is served. So this New York cheesecake over here basically means 1/3 of the entire potential Ukrainian encirclement has been captured by the Russian forces. I'm not sure if this is based on because of Russian attack or this is just a massive withdrawal from the Ukrainians. There is no information about why is there such a massive drop. This massive territory that is captured by the Russian forces. The entire southern almost half of the New York front, where the New York defenses. So let me remove this. Okay. So let me highlight this then. Okay, so the entire southern half of everything east from this Urivka or the column is now under Russian control. The entire defense line has collapsed. From Shuruka Balka all the way to Urivka, the Russian forces captured everything here. So this is a massive drop. And the next line here is already New York itself. This is already the settlement of New York. Here is the outskirt. This is the farms and everything. The Russians have basically taken everything over here. This is a sign, the very strong sign that the Ukrainian forces may be withdrawing. They may be withdrawing. And I did joke about how sad it would be for the Ukrainian forces that is deployed over here, how far it is for them to travel in the mass withdrawal. So I guess that they started early. They have to start early because yeah, it's a far walk, 8 kilometers walk to exit this potential encirclement. So this is the current development, the massive info drop, which means that the current Ukrainian potential encirclement, I can't zoom in the right way. So now we are looking at south of Zalizne and on the eastern part of New York. The southeast is already Russian control. The Russians have taken everything around here. So this this encirclement has become way smaller than it was. And it remains to be seen if the Ukrainians will stay and fight in this part. It remains to be seen because we do not know what's the circumstances to the loss of so much ground. This is tremendous amount of ground that was lost. We are talking about 9.73 square kilometers estimates, 9.7 square kilometers. So a huge amount of land has been lost. So we might see the Ukrainians just abandon this entire position because the Russians are really attacking from the west of New York, and there is already this threat from Zalizny coming in. So it cannot be held. It just cannot be held. So yeah, we shall continue to monitor and see how this goes. But this is the biggest news over the past 8 hours. So the next frontline change, we move into the DFK front, and over in the Pokrov sector, there is new information. The latest Ukrainian mapping have shown more developments around Zalene. Russian force, they have corroborated that the Russians have captured the northern part of Zalene, and they have added more information that the Russians have basically taken everything east of Zalene. So Zalene basically is now in a semi-encirclement. Basically on three sides, the east, the west, and the north is now encircled. The Ukrainians have to redraw if they do not want to be encircled. There's only one way out, two way out. This is the only two way, or they may want to go this way. But the Russians are too close. This way is already under fire control. We're talking about a distance of merely 500 meters, or no, to the tree line is way further. So we're talking about maybe 700, 800, 1 kilometers. So the window to run away is probably now. So if they want to hold and fight, then they might run the risk of Russian forces attacking down from Serhievka directions down the road. And with this attack, Zalene will be operationally encircled. There is no way out because there is a water body here. This is a river, something like a river thing. So they need to cross these two bridges to exit. So Zalene might be on the verge of capture by the Russian forces. I don't think they will hold this position to fight because Zalene is not that strategically important per se. It's probably more useful to fight at Novozalene, which is the new Zalene around here. So this position may be better for fighting. If they fight here, it's more like a death trap for themselves. So anyway, big update around Zalene region with Russian forces, already taking these few tree lines, and basically everything east of Zalene. So yeah, critical situation right now. And there's a lot of news talking about the Ukrainians are just throwing new forces, reinforcement, newly mobilized troops into the ADFK front to plug the hole. I don't think it's going to work because the Russians have just way too much overwhelming power. And they are all well-trained troops by this point, ADFK front. And I heard some of these, bonuses that the Russian soldiers get for every kilometers they capture is quite insane. So I think all these kind of bonuses is going to drive the Russians crazy, and they just want to move forward. So yeah, maybe they will just bankrupt the Russians. The Russians got bankrupt because they pay out too much bonus. I don't know. No. So anyway, at Uruzane, this is mentioned in the situation report. The Russian forces geolocated in the eastern part of Uruzane. This already covered this in the sitrep. Then they have basically fully secured Uruzane. So Uruzane is now very secured from a potential loss, because there is a lot more buffer right now. So anyway, the Russians are continuing to push northward towards Velika Novosilka sector. Velika Novosilka from wrong color. From Uruzane towards Velika Novosilka. So this push will continue. So anyway, these are the frontline changes report. Very, very massive change, but particular the fall of the potential encirclement in the New York front. Anyway, thank you for watching. Press the like button, subscribe, share this, and I'll see you guys in the next update. Bye bye.